Dear students, today we are going to discuss The Merchant of Venice, Act-2, Scene-7. This scene takes place in Belmont. This is the first scene in which a serious suitor tries his luck at the lottery of caskets. The Prince of Morocco feels attracted by the glitter of the gold casket, which says, "Who chooses me shall gain what many men desire." Thinking that as many men desire to win the hand of Portia, and that Portia's picture can only be in the gold casket, he decides to choose the gold casket. When the casket is opened, there is a skull in it instead of Portia's portrait. The prince has to leave with a heavy heart. Portia is relieved and happy at his failure to choose the right casket, as she does not like him at all. Now, let's discuss the scene in detail. Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Flourish of cornets enter Portia with the Prince of Morocco and their trains. So, children, this scene takes place in Belmont. Portia and the Prince of Morocco, with their respective followers, enter with the sound of trumpets. Portia, go, draw aside the curtains and discover the several caskets to this noble prince. Now make your choice. Here, Portia asks Nerissa to go and pull aside the curtains and reveal the different caskets, show the different caskets to Prince of Morocco. And then she asks Morocco to make his choice. Morocco, the first of gold. Who this inscription bears? Who chooseth me? Shall gain what many men desire. Morocco looks at the first casket, which is made of gold, and bears the inscription, "Who chooses me shall gain what many men desire." The second, silver, which this promise carries, "Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves." Then Morocco looks at the second casket, which is made of silver, and reads the inscription, "Whoever chooses me shall gain as much as he deserves." The third, dull lead, with warning all as blunt. Blunt means in plain words. "Who chooseth me must give in hazard all he hath." Then he looks at the third casket, which is made of plain lead, and its inscription is equally plain. "Whosoever chooses me must give and risk all that he possesses." How shall I know if I do choose the right? After reading inscriptions on all the three caskets, the prince wonders, how shall I know whether I have chosen the right one? Portia, the one of them contains my picture, prince. If you choose that, then I am yours with help. Then Portia replies, the right one contains my picture, prince. If you choose that one, then I am yours along with the casket. Morocco. Some goad direct. Direct here means guide. My judgment. Let me see. I will survey the inscriptions back again. Morocco says, may some goad guide me in choosing the right casket. Let me see. I shall read the inscriptions in reverse order once again. What says this leaden casket? Then he starts reading the inscriptions again in reverse order and says, what it on this leaden casket? Who chooseth me must give an hazard all he hath. Must give for what? For lead? Hazard for lead? This casket threatens. Man that hazard all, do it in hope of fair advantages. The inscription means, whoever chooses me must give and risk all that he possesses. Then Prince pauses for a while and says, give everything. And for what? For for this lead casket. Would anyone risk so much for the sake of lead? This casket gives a threat. Men who risk their all do so in the hope of a rich gain. A golden mine stoops not to shows of dross. Dross means worthless things. I'll then nor give nor hazard aught, anything. Aught means anything for lead. Then Prince of Morocco says, a mind of gold never stoops, never bend down to cheap and rubbish things. So I shall not give nor risk anything for this worthless lead casket. So here Prince of Morocco rejects the lead one, thinking that no one will hazard or risk for anything for the base metal. Moreover, he thinks, how can lead contain the portrait of such a worthy lady? What says the silver with her virgin hue? Hue means white color. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves. Pause there, Morocco. Then he read the inscription on the silver casket. Whosoever chooses me shall gain as much as he deserves. Stop here, Morocco, and weigh thy value with an even hand. Even means royal or imperial hand. Then, after reading this inscription on silver casket, Morocco stops and analyzes his own merits with imperial consideration, his own qualities with royal consideration. If thou best rated by thy estimation, thou dost deserve enough. And then he thinks, if you are judged by your own estimation, then you deserve plenty. And yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady. Further, he says, and yet that may not be sufficient to win such a wonderful lady. And yet to be afeard means afraid, of my deserving. Deserving means my qualities. Were but a weak disabling of myself. Further, he says, yet to be afraid of my qualities is a weakness and may work against my own chances. As much as I deserve, why, that's the lady. I do in birth deserve her, and in fortunes, in graces, and in qualities of breeding, but more than these, in love I do deserve. After thinking all these things, the prince he concludes, as much as I deserve, well, that must be the lady herself. He thinks that he is full of merits and he deserves Portia very well. Then he thinks, I deserve her because of my high birth and my fortunes are equal to hers. I deserve her because of my natural virtues, my natural qualities, and good education. And other than these qualities, more than these qualities, I deserve her because of my love for her. What if I strayed no further but choose here? Then Prince of Morocco meditates over silver casket and says, what if I do not go any further and choose right here this silver casket? Let's see once more this saying graved in gold. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. Why, that's the lady, all the world desires her. Further, Morocco decides, let me see once more the inscription written on the golden casket, which means, he who chooses me shall gain what many men desire. And then he thinks, why, that is certainly Portia. Why? Because all the world desires her. All the world wants to marry her. From the four corners of the earth they come to kiss this shrine, this mortal breathing saint. Further, he says, from the four corners of the earth, people come to pay devotion at this shrine. Shrine means sacred place. Belmont is compared to a sacred place of this saint in human form. They come to pay devotion at this shrine, at this place in Belmont of the saint in human form. Here, Portia is compared to a saint. So, here, Prince of Morocco thinks that people from all the corners of the earth they come to pay devotion to Portia. They come to win Portia's hand. The hurricane deserts and the vastly wilds of wide Arabia are as thoroughfares now for princes to come view fair Portia. Here he says, the Persian deserts and the vast barren plains of Arabia are crowded like streets with princes coming to see beautiful Portia. The watery kingdom, whose ambitious head spits in the face of heaven, is no bar to stop the foreign spirits, but they come, as over a brook, to see fair Portia. Here, Prince of Morocco gives more examples. He says, the ocean, whose ambitious waves, whose high, dangerous waves throw drops up to the heavens, means the waves of the oceans are very high, is no barrier to stop those foreign adventurers, but they come as if merely stepping across a brook to see beautiful Portia. Here he says the princes from far away across the ocean they come to meet Portia crossing the high dangerous stormy waves of the ocean. They come from foreign countries to win Portia. One of these three contains her heavenly picture. Is it like that lead contains her? Twere damnation to think so base a thought. It were too gross to rib her cerecloth in the obscure grave. Cerecloth means a waxed cloth in which a dead body is wrapped. Here he says, one of these three contains Portia's divine picture. Is it likely for the lead to contain it? Is it possible that lead casket contains her portrait? It would be a damnable and low, cheap thought if I think so. Further, he says, lead is too cheap a metal even to cover her dead body when she is put into the darkness of the grave. So, finally, thinking all these things, he rejects the lead casket. Further, he says, or shall I think in silver she is immured, being 10 times undervalued to tried gold. Next, he questions himself and says, shall I think that Portia is contained in silver, which is only a tenth of the value of pure gold? Means silver is 10 times cheaper than gold. Oh, sinful thought. Then he says, no, 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 it is not possible. It is a sinful thought. It is a sin to think like this. Never so rich a gem was set in worse than gold. Finally, he thinks, so Portia, who is like a rich gem, was never set in anything less than gold. They have in England a coin that bears the figure of an angel. They have in England a gold coin which has the figure of an angel stamped in gold, but that's inscribed upon. But that angel is carved on the gold. But here an angel in a gold bed lies all within. But here an angel lies entirely enclosed on a golden bed. and he thinks that he concludes that Portia must be in the golden casket. Deliver me the key. Here do I choose and thrive, I as I may. Then he asks for the key and says, I choose this one, whatever my success may be. Portia, there take it, prince, and if my form lie there, then I am yours. Portia says, there is a key, take it, prince. If you find my picture inside, then I am yours. And here, Prince of Morocco unlocks the golden casket. Morocco. Oh hell, what have we here? A carrion death means a skeleton, within whose empty eye there is a written scroll. When Morocco opens the golden casket, he says, oh hell, what have we here? A dead skull, within whose hollow eye socket there is a roll of paper with writing. I'll read the writing. And then he says, I will read the writing. All that glitters is not gold. Often have you heard that told. All that glitters is not gold. Often have you heard that said. Many a man his life hath sold, but my outside to behold. Behold means seen. Many a man has given his life only to see the gold which covers the outside of me. Gilded tombs do worms enfold, but gold covered tombs have worms inside them. Had you been as wise as bold, young in limbs, in judgment old. If you had been as wise as you are brave, as mature of judgment as you are strong of limbs, then your answer had not been inscrolled. Fare you well, your suit is cold. If you were as wise as you're brave, as mature of judgment as you are strong of limb, then this would not have been the answer written for you. Goodbye, your guest has failed. Cold indeed and labor lost. Here, cold refers to the failure, and labor lost means all the efforts which he made in choosing the right casket, they are lost. Then, farewell, heat, and welcome, frost. Again, heat here refers to the failure, and frost here refers to the disappointment after the failure. Means Prince of Morocco should say goodbye to love and he should welcome his cold disappointment. Portia, adieu. I have too grieved a heart to take a tedious leave, thus losers part. Then Prince of Morocco says, I am too sad at heart to speak a very formal farewell. Thus losers should go. Exit with his train, flourish of cornets. He goes out with his followers with the sound of trumpets. Portia, a gentle riddance. Riddance means rid or relief. Draw the curtains, go. Let all his complexion choose me so. When Prince of Morocco leaves Belmont, Portia says, a gentle fellow, but still we have got a good relief. Draw the curtains and let us go. May all his nature make a similar choice. Here, Portia feels relief and hopes that all like the prince, all the people who are like Prince of Morocco, should make mistakes, should make such errors in making the choice of caskets. Means Portia, she doesn't like Prince of Morocco and is very happy that he has chosen the wrong casket. So, children, with these lines, Act 2, Scene 7 is finished. I hope you have understood it well. Thank you.